friends, I am digging ashwagandha this morning, and welcome to Fruition Seeds. I am Petra, and I am so delighted to share some live Q&A with you. So jump right in, don't be shy, and yes, today, even in the cold and in this snow that totally looks like Dippin' Dots, I am digging ashwagandha, and I'm so honored that you are here joining. So I love to begin all of our live Q&As with some words, with a song, with something to ground us in our time together. And this morning, some words from Harriet Tubman. I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. One more time. I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. And I love this quote from Harriet Tubman on so many levels. And as I think about plants and herbalism, with which Harriet Tubman was an incredible herbalist, P.S. by the way, I love to remember that these plants, not just the healing plants that we grow in our lives are healing us. All plants that we grow are nourishing, are feeding, are healing us. From breakfast, lunch to dinner, every day, even if we're not taking medicinal herbal medicines for other purposes in our lives, plants are medicine, helping us remember who we are and how to be our best and highest, most nourished and nourishing selves. So I'm delighted to be sharing with you a little more about ashwagandha today. And we're going to dig up a root here in a minute. And ashwagandha, what is it? If you've never heard of ashwagandha, it's a wonderful root from the Indian subcontinent. And it's in the solanaceous family, so it's very closely related to tomatoes, potatoes. It doesn't look at all anything like these crops except her flowers and then little fruit. She does have little fruits that look just like ground cherries with a tiny little red berry inside, full of seeds, which we love to share with you. And in the meantime, her medicinal constituents are everywhere in her roots. So they, as an adaptogen, these herbs, it's a class of herbs. So there's lots. My favorite adaptogens are ashwagandha and also tulsi, holy basil. And they just help, as adaptogens, help us adapt to our environments around us. So whether it's our neurological systems, our digestive systems, any way we need to be up leveling, down leveling, however we need to be a little more at equilibrium, adaptogens are here to help our bodies just innately dive into their intrinsic wisdom. So I think adaptogens are impressively important for our lives, and certainly for 2020. I take a tincture of ashwagandha every evening before I fall asleep. So let's dig one up. So first things first, we plant ashwagandha in the spring, and we plant it indoors. And we plant it indoors in soil blocks 4 weeks before we're actually going to plant it out. And so it doesn't need much time, anything like, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, but 4 weeks is just a good idea. And with 2 or 3 sets of true leaves, we tuck her outside. And then we have her growing all season long. She will die with that first frost. And then you can see, this is literally almost 2 months. 2.5. It frosted in mid-September for us here. So it's nearly 2 months ago. But you can see this ashwagandha is still hanging out. And, the plant the above ground parts have long gone. But the roots are still totally just fine under the ground. So I'm digging her, and you can tell I'm kind of going around in circles, taking my time and being really gentle because, look at this. There's all of these rootlets, and all of them are filled with gorgeous medicine. So yes, I'm not going to get every single bit of the plant, but I do take my time because this plant has been growing here all season long, and why get in a rush now? And I also feel like part of the medicine of root medicines is this act of unearthing the medicine itself. And I always feel like I'm unearthing healing in myself as well. That is there. It just might be buried. for any number of reasons. So, ooh, yes, she's really in there. And I love too, I'll often, as you start to really get in and lift her up, you can tell there's like a big long root going sometimes in a certain direction. And I love that like following of the root. Ooh, yeah, like there's one here. So it's definitely part of the joy and part of the journey of growing ashwagandha, to dig her carefully. And as a meditation, look at how long this root is. Oh my gosh. Oh my word, that's amazing. So take a look. Here she is. There's like many tentacled, beautiful octopus of a teacher. If you haven't already seen the octopus teacher, by the way, she's magnificent. It's magnificent. So look at that root. So that's what I mean, that like gentle following of just like, yeah, like not just ripping it, digging under it, ripping it up, taking it out, but like, where is it? And so here I'm knocking off all of the excess soil so it just stays here in our garden, because, you know, it's taken thousands of years for this soil to develop, and we've been investing tremendously in it for almost a decade. So I like to leave soil right where it is. And so from here, I will bring this home and I will wash these roots carefully, and then I chop them up, put them in our poor blender, and turn them into tinctures. So from that macerated, I put in the blender the roots, but instead of with water or something, I put in alcohol. And shout out to Hollerhorn Distilling just down the road. They have an incredible spirit, 100 proof, that is basically maple sap that they've distilled a 100 proof spirit out of. That's so clean and so magnificent. And so that's what we use in all of our tinctures. So we let that sit for 4 weeks minimum, and then we extract. Often I let it sit much, much longer, just because, you know, there's a shiny thing, and then I'm going to go skiing, and then there's another shiny thing. So if it's 5 months later, it hasn't deepened, but it also hasn't like lessened its quality. So yes, and then we put it into these lovely little brown bottles, and I take it under my ashwagandha and several other herbs. So delicious under my tongue right before I fall asleep. So that's one of the most receptive times for our bodies to be responding to herbal medicine. So without further ado, I'm going to jump back into the comments and see what questions you may have for me, friends. And yes, this is live Q&A, so don't be shy. And whether it's an ashwagandha, another gardening question, anything else in the world, just don't hesitate to jump right in. Oh, and thank you everyone for joining. This is so fun. Andy says, good morning. The arugula has laughed at this week's snow in Rochester and is still tasty on my turkey sandwiches. Thanks for the seeds. Thank you, Andy. You are why we do what we do, and that is amazing. Yeah, arugula is undaunted by this weather and only grows sweeter. I endeavor to be the same. Oh, and thank you so much for joining. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my gosh, so many lovely people. Good morning, Janelle. Oh my gosh. Do you have a root to sell? Asked Kate. So yes, this is a live Q&A, and don't be shy if you have any questions. And Kate, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to give you some of these roots. And I don't know if I want to sell it to you, but like, let's trade something you love for something that I love. So let me know. I've got, the great thing about growing ashwagandha for seed is that, we have like 80 plants here that we just harvested tons of seeds off of. And now I just have all these wonderful roots, and hence why I'm making all this wonderful medicine. And I would love to share some with you. So yes, I'll warn you now, it's going to have all the soil on. But yeah, maybe I'll bring some home and just leave some on my step for you, and you can stop by anytime today. and they'll be there. And thank you for this live feed. Would you like seeds? Would like seeds, please, trades. So if you're local and trades are easy, awesome. If you're not local, honestly, it's going to be easier. If I don't already know you and have a relationship with you, it's going to be much easier for you to just get seeds on our website, fruitionseeds.com. And if you really want to trade something, go for it. Let me know. But I generally just do trades with people that I know well and are local. And so pardon me for making such a hubbub on our feed about it, but check it out too. Randy says, love watching your videos, and I totally adored my octopus teacher. Oh my gosh, it's so incredible. Oh, and Janelle says, you're the sweetest, love the trade. Oh my gosh, let's be in touch. Let me count the ways. And I want to share too, you're some of the first people to know. We have our new varieties for 2020. 97% of them are on our website now. We have them germination tested, beautifully germinating now in our brand new packets. And check it out. Here are just a few. So we have a gorgeous Napa cabbage. We also have, oh my gosh, a sweet corn from our friends at University of Wisconsin-Madison, as well as the Organic Seed Alliance. Bicolor, super sweet, just super early. It's a lovely variety. We also have one of Frank Morton's beautiful babies, this glorious kaleidoscope of a morning glory, and a straw flower. Oh my gosh, this apricot peach straw flower is just heart melting. And this glorious ornamental millet that is also delicious and just beautiful. Most people grow it as a crop flower, but we do all kinds of delicious things. And cleome, which is the most deer resistant flower I've ever seen, and also just profusely blossoming all the way from late June all the way to frost. She's just amazing. In containers, she gets 6 feet, 1 foot tall, depending on fertility, and just blossoms abundantly no matter what she has access to. I'm so impressed with her resilience. And Brussels sprouts, most Brussels sprouts kind of suck unless they're an F1 hybrid, which, also just kind of sucks in certain other ways. And so we've been looking for an open pollinated heirloom variety of Brussels sprouts that has actually been maintained across the years, and Sativa did it. Sativa Reynau is this amazing biodynamic seed company in Switzerland, and their soils as well as climate are really similar to ours, post-glacial soils, and so we love getting seeds from them and trialing them, and this variety that they've been maintaining and for years is such an exception to that rule. And we have over 20 new varieties, so these are just the tiniest tip of the iceberg, and we do have a few more that are still in germination testing. So if you're waiting for everything, wait another week or so. But honestly, you'll find over 20 new varieties, including like our compost and some other really exciting things to share for 2021 on our website. So yes, don't be shy. And Deborah says, hi Petra, live this time of year. Yes, it's snowing in our garden, so why not be out in the garden? Just answered my question, what's new for 2021? Yes, and that was just the tiniest taste. I did want to share too, I woke up this morning. I love adding things to my perpetual calendar, and perhaps you have one too. And if you haven't heard, we have these marvelous perpetual calendars called Across the Seasons. And so a perpetual calendar is one that has dates, but not days of the week. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but instead of Monday through Sunday, it has years. So here we are in December 2020, the 5th of December, Doug Ashwagandha with friends on social media. What else happened in December 2020? The Shard is still rocking it. First ski at Ontario County Park, all kinds of things. But yeah, August was delicious. And so this just goes through month by month. And so you can see what we were sowing, what we were harvesting. And we love to share these calendars with you, friends. If you're looking for a fun way to keep track of anything and amplify your abundance, see the patterns across the years, hence across the seasons, that is why we have created this beautiful calendar. So if you didn't already know, now you know. And I love when people share little things of what they're adding to the calendars. It's so fun. And Jolene says, yes, soil, light, and water is all you need. Oh my gosh, I think I missed a question. Imo says, is growing from seeds easy enough? It's like anything. You can paint as soon as you have fingers. You are a painter. If you have fingers and paint, you can paint. And so if you have seeds and soil, you can grow them. Is it that simple? Of course not. With some seeds, yes. Some seeds make it so easy. With lettuce, with kale, with Swiss chard, it's that easy. Other ones, like poppies, cauliflower, broccoli, it's just not that easy. So, if you didn't already know, Fruition has a whole entirely free online course called our Seed Starting Academy. And dive in now. You might as well. Even though we won't, here in Zone 5 at Fruition Seeds, here in the Finger Lakes, we won't be starting seeds until March. Our onions, leeks will be first. But then in April is when we really start starting seeds in earnest. So we've got a few months, but you might as well dive in now. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of videos with tons of other resources to dig into. So you can be setting yourself up for success now. And even though we're not starting those seeds, we are totally in that dreaming phase, that reflection, that dreaming, that planning space. So it's not too early to jump into that online course. And again, it's totally free because, it's $100 course that we made free right at the beginning of the pandemic because we were like, we're not going to make money this year. You're not going to make money this year. Suddenly, we all need to be more generous than ever so that we can all survive this time. So yes, all our online courses are totally free as a direct result. So it's just, and it also just makes sense because we've been given this information, taught these beautiful lessons by these seeds, by these plants, by so many mentors and friends, and so many teachers, so many ancestors for the last 10,000 years dialing in how to be growing seeds. So yes, I'm so delighted to share that seed starting course with you, and don't be shy. Yes, and this is live Q&A, so good morning, Lisa, and don't be shy. And Stu says, do you start the ashwagandha direct or via soil blocks? Great question. So yes, we're digging ashwagandha today. And this ashwagandha we started in soil blocks 4 weeks before final frost. And you'll find a bunch of more information on our website about how to start ashwagandha seeds. And stay tuned, in hopefully 3 weeks, we're going to launch a brand new website that is so much better than our current website, that is so much easier to navigate and with all kinds of resources. So I'm so excited to launch it and share it with you. But in the meantime, you'll still find lots of great seed starting information. And yes, we start ashwagandha from seeds, certainly. You could technically direct sow her, but you have to sow. But, you're not going to get as big of roots. I just can't get over how long this lovely root is. Thanks for asking, Stu. And Jean says, sorry I'm late. No worries. Excited to order seeds for next year. Oh my gosh. You're always right on time. Never doubt. And I'm just hanging out here on Saturdays between 9:45 and 10:15. So don't be shy. Join as you can. And Randy says, hi, I would like to do a Vulcan mind meld with you. You're so knowledgeable. Thanks for sharing your via your giggly videos. Thanks, Randy. I wish I could share everything that I love to, and I'm doing my darndest. And in the meantime, don't be shy. I would love to Vulcan mind meld with you because you know so many amazing things that I would also love to know. So thanks for sharing everything that you know and love also with the world. And Janelle says, after I strain fire cider, yes, can I add apple cider to start a new batch? Thank you. All my love straight back. And yes, trust your instincts. I trust your instincts. True confessions, I just add fresh, raw apple cider vinegar to our fire cider all winter long. Like, I probably put in, we have our fire cider in half gallon. I have 3 of them. And so I just will go through one and then put in fresh vinegar in one, and then like go through each of the 3 so that I'm letting that vinegar steep in between. But yeah, I don't have any way to measure whether that's what is actually being extracted and in what proportions, but it still is just deliciously flavorful, which to me is good enough indication that there's health, healing, incredible constituents and capacities there. Awesome question, Janelle. And Christina Jenkins, how do you make an ashwagandha tincture? Oh my gosh. Well, check out our video. You'll find it on our website, also on our YouTube video, but basically our channel. So basically to make ashwagandha tincture, you will you'll grow your ashwagandha, then you'll harvest it like I just did, then you'll wash it off really carefully, and then chop it up as fine as you can. And then we have a pretty serious blender, and so we blend it. The more surface area that your tincture has, the quicker and more consistently it will be extracting the constituents. So I chop it up in small enough pieces so then our blender can do its work, and then it works really hard. I can tell our blender is like, that leek potato soup last night was really easy. Why don't you make more leek potato soup instead of throwing branches into me? Most sincerely, you'll see cutting them, you'll be like, yeah, they are more like woody branches than like soft, pliable roots, which P.S. is why she's still here almost 2 months after frost, and why she'll be a healing mentor for you for years. So yes, after, and I blend, rather than with water, any other menstruum, I add alcohol. So you want to use about 100 proof alcohol, and we're really lucky if you're here in the Finger Lakes, and they ship too. We get the organic silverleaf, or silverleaf from Hollerhorn Distilling, hollerhorndistilling.com, and they have a 100 proof, basically maple sap that they turn into a spirit, and it's so clean, it's amazing, and I love that it's local, and we love Carl and Melissa. So that's what we use. So you cover your freshly washed, freshly chopped roots in a blender with alcohol. And then you just, label them with, ashwagandha, and then December 5th, whatever day you make it. And then, wait 4 weeks. If it's 3 months, it's no big deal. But 3 weeks, you won't have extracted as much as you possibly could of the constituents. And so that 4 week is a really good, minimum time. Often I'm more like 2 or 3 months because, I'm like, oh, here's a shiny thing. Oh, here's another important thing I forgot to do. Oh, wait, I'm going to go skiing. And suddenly it's 3 months later and I remember there's ashwagandha tincture. So you can let her sit in her jar for as long as you like. And that's the beauty of alcohol tinctures. And there's so much more to share, but there's some tiny, tiny tastes for you. And Allison says, can you plant lettuce seeds now and keep them covered? Will they grow throughout the winter? It depends where you are. Here at Fruition Seeds, we're in zone 5. And the answer is no. It's really, the soil is too cold and they're likely just going to rot. If you have them under any kind of protection, whether it's a cold frame, a high tunnel, you might have some options, but I highly recommend, rather than growing lettuce, growing something like claytonia or mosh, even cilantro, something like kale. Brassicas, arugula, will be much hardier than kale and sprout more readily in this time. But if you're farther south, really, if you're anywhere like Washington, D.C. and farther south, you're probably going to be just fine. It'll take them a few, maybe 2 or 3 weeks to germinate instead of 4 or 5 days. But you're probably good to go. So yes, it depends where you are. So much depends on where you are. And definitely get like our winter density lettuce overwinters for us and will germinate in cooler soils than something like our anui lettuce, or like, that is a summer lettuce, like our Gros Blonde Peresus. We have so many awkward named summer lettuces. But thank you so much for asking, and I can't wait to hear what you sow. And Deborah says, I so prefer seeds if for no other reason than for the varieties. For instance, tomatoes, maybe 6 varieties of transplants, and maybe available at the store. Oodles to choose from, one seed wise. Oh, yes, that diversity is so much of what keeps me smiling even on the grayest days. It's so true. And Odin says, where is your most distant seed customer? Well, it depends. We don't ship internationally any longer. But when we were shipping internationally, we'd have to look at but we were shipping seeds to Singapore. We shipped seeds to Yemen, Zambia. And certainly, but probably, but now we just do within the US. So I was thinking that might be hard to think, but it's not. We've shipped seeds to Hawaii quite regularly. So Hawaii is going to be far. We also ship seeds to Alaska, and that's pretty far, but not as far as Hawaii. So yes, it's true. We only, to the US and Canada is where we send seeds to these days. But it's really wonderful. We have some amazing friends of friends in Zambia growing tons of our varieties and adapting them to Zambia, which just makes me want to cry. So thanks for asking, Odin. What a wonderful question. And Jolene asks, it's just magical watching life spring from the tiniest seeds. Yes! And remembering that we do the same every day somehow. And Lisa says, looking forward to the new website. Oh, you and me both. I look at our current website and I'm just like, oh, I can't believe people are. It's going to be so much better. So if you like our website now, just get ready. And then let us know, we're not magicians, but we do really try to just make life better for us all. So let us know what you're dreaming, what you would love, and we would love to make that come to life in our gardens as well as in our online communities. And Gordon says, good morning, Petra. I'm saving tomato seeds by fermentation. Is it possible to ferment them too long? Yes. Mine went for 5 days before I strained them. Yeah, so you can totally overstrain tomato seeds. The thing is, they tell you when they're ready. If this jar, instead of ashwagandha tincture, was fermenting tomatoes, they're all a jumble when you first are fermenting them. But the thing that's magical about fermenting tomato seeds in jars is that you can see inside the jar. And so you can see when suddenly there's all these mature seeds, these seeds on the bottom, seeds on the top, and lots of just empty water space in between. And once those 3 striated layers are there for you, you know that the fermentation is done. No more time is necessary. And in fact, you can go the backwards way and can drown the seeds if they're discolored in any way. It can be not good. So you want to, generally, it depends on the temperature. In warm days, it might take 2 days. In cooler temperatures, it might take 5 days. But once those 3 distinct layers of heavy, dense, mature seeds on the bottom, light, immature seeds on the top, and lots of just water in between, that's when you know it's time. And yeah, check out, if you haven't already, we have a glorious seed saving webinar, and lots of great info on saving seeds on our website and also on our YouTube channel. And I love it so much. Thanks for asking, Gordon. And Kitty says, hi, Petra. Thank you for your generosity this year. You have put a smile on my face with each video. I'm so glad. These gardens bring me so much joy. Each seed and each of you, and it's such a joy to be a community together, even in the disjointed, awkward 2020, are we really looking at screens again, or are there people beyond those screens kind of way. And thank you for keeping me smiling throughout this year too, Kitty. So just a couple more questions, and then, oh my gosh, it's time for the rest of our Saturdays. But this is so fun. Chuck says, recently I heard a vague reference that I should plant chamomile near some other plants to increase the oils in the adjacent plants. Do you know about this? Is it true? And how might that work? Yeah, so, I mean, if you haven't already read The Overstory, it's time. The Overstory by Richard Powers is one of my favorite books of all time, and he beautifully speaks to this. Granted, not necessarily about chamomile specifically, but how plants engage with other plants and with other living beings like us in really remarkable ways that we would do well to pay attention to. So it's true. There's something like chamomile has so many medicinal oils in it, and depending on something like carrots, lots of other plants, it will actually bring out the plant's innate capacity to heal themselves and just to bring more of those constituents to the world. So yeah, the thing about chamomile is that it's a pretty big plant. It can be like 2+ feet tall and 2+ feet wide. So it's not a great companion plant in that way. If you want to make a good companion plant, like a marigold, specifically a dwarf marigold, specifically our Queen Sophia marigold, I'm pointing over here in our farm where there were just 6 weeks ago, about 200 marigold plants of Queen Sophia. But she's a scant foot tall and wide, so she also will bring out those essential oils in plants, which are essentially kind of their plant immune systems, and helping them be more healthy and robust. So that here I am, I'm talking about ashwagandha at the same time as I'm talking about those dwarf sunflower marigolds. And those dwarf marigolds will do the same thing that you're talking about with the chamomile, but you can actually interplant them, whether it's with your tomatoes or with your broccoli and cabbage, cauliflower, so much more effectively. And thanks for asking. And Kitty says, one more question. Oh, I hope not. 1 million more questions. Do you have any tips for growing lavender from seed? It's been a challenge here in Boston. Yes, lavender is incredibly hard from seed. And you can propagate lavender in 3 different ways: from seed, from cutting, and also by root division. So by far the easiest, if you have a friend who already has an established lavender plant, it's the easiest to just say, would you mind if I have some? And go and stick a shovel straight into her. And so then lifting up those roots, that plant, and transplanting it, that's the best, easiest way. Another way is taking that propagation of a cutting. So not now, but in the spring as it's regrowing, not the denser like primary stalks, stems, branches, but like a little like more new growth. Take that and then you'll want to root that. But lavender seeds you can grow from. It takes a while, and you want to make sure you have a mini soil blocker. Make sure you have a heat mat. Make sure that you're very patient. Don't let them get like too dry, but you don't want to overwater them either. Lavender is from the Mediterranean, so it wants it hot and dry, but not bone dry. If it's too wet, it just dies. So so sad. So there are some tips for lavender. It takes tons of patience. We start 2 months before our final frost. If you don't have a great grow light, I recommend just getting a transplant, honestly, from someone, whether it's a nursery, if you don't have a friend with a lavender plant that they might divide. So thanks for asking. And again, if you haven't already joined our Seed Starting Academy, we talk about lavender in depth and so many other things. It's an awesome resource and it's totally free. So hop on over to our website, fruitionseeds.com. And you can join our free online Seed Starting Academy and dial it in for the seasons to come. So you are amazing. Thank you so much. You are amazing. Thank you so much. I love your seeds and garlic and fertilizer. I'm in Maryland. We love you, Odin. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And I am just so delighted to join you all, friends. It is the end of our live Q&A, and I see there's all the more questions. Oh my gosh, hopefully we can get to them next time, and don't be shy in the meantime. I'm hanging out here with you all on Saturdays between 9:45 and 10:15 ish, and I love to learn from you. I always learn from you. So thank you for sharing your questions and your curiosities, as well as your stories and experiences. And in the meantime, stay cozy, and I hope that you have some fun medicine in your life. If not in your garden, to dig now, in the future to dig in the future. Certainly there's lots of medicine all around us in the fields and the forest. And we begin and end all of our live Q&As with a sentiment, and this morning some words from Harriet Tubman. I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. Once more, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they knew they were slaves. And I love Harriet Tubman, and she was an amazing herbalist among so many other things. And I love remembering that we are all agents of our own healing, for our own healing and our collective healing. And we are all free, as well as we are all enslaved, these opposing truths of our time. Slavery doesn't end, it only evolves. And thank you for knowing, even with the ways that you enslave and impoverish yourself and other people, that you can set yourself free, and that plants are here to accompany us in the journey. They grow us more than we grow them. And sending so much love to you and your garden and all of your loved ones. And thank you for keeping me warm on this marvelously chilly morning.